rights and others.
I'm curious, why don't you call them the Taliban? When you talk about de facto authorities, what happens if you call them the Taliban?
I mean, de facto authorities is
it's the name they've chosen for themselves.
Well, it's also the legal term in international law for people who exert a de facto authority but are not the legitimate government of a country.
But they are the Taliban.
Yes. Or you can call them the Taliban de facto authorities if you wish.
I was just curious if there is an understanding that what the international community should call them.
No, we make that distinction because this is the one that, under international law is how you define a movement that exerts authority de facto, but is actually not recognized as a legitimate government.
Ambassador, you are also in charge of Pakistan in the EU, in the EU's foreign ministry, if we say it that way. Things are pretty serious between Afghanistan and Pakistan at the moment. There was an incident, I think, just last night. How bad is that situation, and why there is an escalation in violence?
Well, I think the reasons for the escalation and the concerns on the Pakistani side in terms of the increase in attacks and terrorist attacks that they consider can be traced back to Afghanistan, especially by the TTP. Those reasons are well known, and they are the ones that led to the serious upsurge in violence in October, again in February, and still now to that to the continuation of airstrikes, particularly in the border area. On this, I think, just like many in the international community, what the EU has passed to both sides is a message of seeking de-escalation. We consider that, of course, the Pakistani government has to react when it is under terrorist pressure, and if it sees that direct link and it's addressing it with the de facto authorities.
You agree with the Pakistanis that there is a link between the escalation of violence in Pakistan, with the Taliban in Afghanistan?
Well, they've put forward quite a number of elements. We all know that the border area is complex, porous, tribal, and rather unstable area.
But they're bombing Mazar-e-Sharif, they're bombing Kabul. And why is that? The TTP is there?
On the conflict itself, the main message we have passed to both parties is that they have to respect international humanitarian law, they have to protect civilian lives, and of course, whenever we see UN verified reports of civilian casualties, we take them very seriously.
Our message is calm, that we consider that this can only be solved through dialogue.
Yes.
And we consider that de-escalation is actually what is needed between the two.
I understand your message, but I'm trying to understand the reason for the escalation. Is the Taliban cannot decouple from the TTP? Is that the reason?
I think, this is very much a question to ask both protagonists. What we have passed as a message to both parties is to take seriously, and particularly to the de facto authorities, to take seriously Pakistan's concerns, to see what can be done to address the security concerns of Pakistan, and particularly the whole question of the TTP's presence and its potential ability to undertake attacks on Pakistani soil from Afghan territory. But again, we believe that this is best done through dialogue. We actually know that a lot of members of the international community have tried to engage in that conversation, in that mediation. Turkey and Qatar did it, Saudi Arabia, more recently China. We believe that all these efforts go in the same direction, in the right direction. We are not mediating as such, but we have passed these messages to both sides, and we are very much hoping that they can get around the table, take seriously each other's concerns, and basically come to an understanding and an agreement on how to handle their security issues.
And Pakistan has the right of self-defense, and that's what you're saying.
Pakistan as a government cannot stay idle when it's facing such an intensity of terrorist actions. And
emanating from Afghanistan.
And they have come with elements that are pointing towards Afghanistan.
And you're convinced, as somebody?
We know that not only the TTP, but a number of terrorist groups have been present in Afghanistan. These are concerns that are expressed routinely by the entire international community. You can listen to the Russians, you can listen to the Chinese, you can listen to the US, you can listen to Europeans. This is one of the three core elements on which the de facto authorities have to take steps to make sure that the country does not become or does not become again a safe haven for a number of terrorist actions.
And for TTP it is, apparently.
Well, I mean, that's where, through that conversation between the two, they have to basically address any of the outstanding issues in the border area that make it possible to have attacks on Pakistani soil.
You mentioned Daesh, ISKP. You said that there has been some progress. And I'm curious if you can elaborate. What does that mean? Why the world should believe that the risk of